Hey, it's Gabe with API Nation. Today I'm going to show you how you can connect PrimeStreet to kvCORE. So all those awesome referrals, all those leads you're getting from PrimeStreet can automatically get put into kvCORE. You can even hashtag them as they're coming across, so they automatically get put on a campaign. It's super easy to set this up. Let me show you how. The first thing you're going to do is go to apination.com. Here you can connect a ton of different apps. I'm going to click on Get Syncs. That's what it means to connect them, to sync them up. First thing it's going to do is ask me to sign into my API Nation account, or you can sign up for an API Nation account. I'm going to go ahead and sign in. So I'm going to click this button, and then I'm going to sign in with Google. So now I've signed into my account. Now I'm going to search for the app PrimeStreet. It's going to be under P for PrimeStreet, LMNOP. There it is, PrimeStreet AI. Click on that, and it's going to show me all the apps I can connect to PrimeStreet. So I'm going to connect it to kvCORE today, but if you're running any of these other apps, Sierra Interactive, Lofty, MoxieWorks, Follow Up Boss, know that you can connect PrimeStreet to those as well. Let's go with kvCORE. Click on that, and you can see I have a couple different options. I can send people from kvCORE into PrimeStreet. I can send referrals from PrimeStreet into kvCORE, and I can send notes from PrimeStreet into kvCORE. Let's go with this referrals into kvCORE. That is the most popular setup right now. So I'm going to activate that, and I'm going to hit Connect PrimeStreet. And here I'm just going to log into PrimeStreet. So this will actually be your PrimeStreet login, the email you log into PrimeStreet and the password. There we go, hit Connect. And there we can see PrimeStreet is now connected. We'll do the same thing with kvCORE. You'll just hit Connect there. If you're already logged into kvCORE, it'll log you right in. If you're not, you'll just sign in here and authorize the connection. There we go. Now there's just a few options here before we launch this sync. The first one, are we syncing notes or are we syncing contacts, referrals, persons? We're going to go ahead and do referrals to get started. Here it's going to ask, do you want to sync all the referrals on this first run? So if you have a bunch of referrals, a bunch of leads sitting in PrimeStreet that you've been meaning to get into kvCORE, you haven't yet, go ahead and check that box. You're just going to pull them all over as a single batch, get kvCORE all up to date. If you just want to pay attention from now on, any new referrals that get added today going forward, you can leave this box unchecked. Either way, as they get added into kvCORE, would you like to overwrite any information in kvCORE? So if you have a lead in PrimeStreet or referral, and you have the same one in kvCORE, you can either say, do not overwrite kvCORE, just leave it alone, or uncheck this box and say, you know what, the stuff in PrimeStreet is the freshest information I have. Go ahead and push that into kvCORE, override it. That will work for me. I'm going to hit subscribe, and that's going to create your subscription. And the subscription covers as many syncs, as many connections as you want. It only counts how much data is getting moved. So any leads you have from PrimeStreet getting pushed into kvCORE, it'll count those. But you can have a ton of different syncs, a ton of different automations, all set up under a single subscription. Super helpful. So here we are, we're on our last page here, the configuration page. All this stuff is exactly the same. We're sending referrals from PrimeStreet into kvCORE. There's a couple tools here I want to show you. There's a filter tool. So if you want to filter out, for example, by the agent, you could say that, you know what, I only want to send over referrals who the agent last name is Johnson. So we're only going to send over Agent Johnson's referrals into kvCORE. You could do that. You just hit save. You could do all of them for sure. You could just go no filter, but let's do Agent Johnson's, for example, here. So we're going to send Agent Johnson's over. Here you can see the mapping, so you can see the information from PrimeStreet, where it's going to go in kvCORE. The first name is going to go in the first name. Last name is going to go in last name. We do most of this for you, personal email, mobile phone, home phone, work phone. This all looks great. If there's anything else you want to add, you can do it. You can just say, you know what, I want the source. I'm just going to type in PrimeStreet. That way I can see the source for this referral was PrimeStreet. And you can do that with the mapping. You can just type a static value in, or you can add dynamic value. So I can hit this plus sign under note, and I can add any of the stuff from PrimeStreet that I want that's coming over. For example, maybe I want to put in the agent name. So I'm going to say agent first name, agent last name, and then I'm going to type a little label here just so I remember what that is, agent, and then it'll say their first name and last name. Great. Status, so we're going to bring the status over, and we're actually going to transpose it into the correct status for kvCORE. This is all set up. Lead type, we're also doing that for lead type. And again, we've set this all up for you, so this is all ready to go. Ton of different information you can sync over, and we're going to get it all into kvCORE so it's nice and usable. I'm going to hit activate sync, and there we go. The sync is up and ready. I'm now sending all of Agent Johnson's referrals into kvCORE. And maybe because they are his referrals or her referrals, maybe I want to hashtag them for them, just so they can easily be assigned to them in kvCORE. So I could come down here. I don't have to put the symbol. I'm just going to put Johnson. That way it's going to tag them as Johnson. I'm going to go who they get assigned to when they get synced over. So that looks good. And it's going to start syncing. So that gets all of Agent Johnson's contacts into kvCORE, but you might be thinking, I got 2 or 3 other agents, 4 or 5 other agents. How do I get those in as well? You would just go ahead and clone this sync. Great. And like I said before, the subscription covers as many of these automations as you want. So we're already doing Agent Johnson. Now we're going to go ahead and do PrimeStreet Referrals into kvCORE for Agent Becker. So let's come down here. We'll change the last name on the filter to Becker. And this is just one example of what you can do with the filter to separate these people out. You can do it based on agent names, their email address, their phone number, or you can do it based on stage. Maybe I only want people who achieve a certain stage in PrimeStreet getting sent over to kvCORE, or maybe I only want buyers getting sent over to kvCORE. A ton of different options. This is just one example of separating it out by agent. So I'm going to separate it out. Last name Becker. I'll go ahead and change that hashtag from Johnson to Becker. There we go. And launch that one. So now I have 2 syncs running, one for Johnson, one for Becker. I can clone this and do it again for my other agent. And all of these will have a hashtag come over so I know who they're assigned to. So that's setting up referrals to kvCORE. Let's take a look at notes. I'm going to click on the PrimeStreet logo. It's going to take me back to all the PrimeStreet syncs again. Click on kvCORE. And if you remember, there was 3 different options: referrals, notes, and people. Let's do this notes. So I'm going to activate that. And I'm just going to use the same accounts I've already connected to API Nation. I don't have to go through that again. I can just select those accounts. They're saved here on my account. And now it's asking me, what do I want to sync? This time, let's try notes. I'll leave the box checked here. There's some information here about how we're going to match up the note from PrimeStreet to your contact in kvCORE. We're going to do it matching up the email address, the cell phone, the first name, and the last name. So the more information you can match up here with your note, the better. I'm going to hit subscribe, and this looks good. You can filter based on the note if you want. And then we have some information set up for the note already. We have the note type from PrimeStreet. We're going to put that in as the note title for kvCORE. We find that's very helpful. The note text is going to go in the kvCORE note details. And then here, we're going to look at the email addresses from PrimeStreet and use them as the email in kvCORE. And you can see there's 3 email addresses in here. We're actually using a feature in API Nation called Fields Priority. So that means we're putting all 3 in here, and we're telling it if there's a personal email address in PrimeStreet, use that one. That's priority number 1. But if there's not, use the work email. That's priority number 2. If there's not personal or work, use other. So it's a nice way to make sure, just in case you forget where all those email addresses are, maybe you add them all to other email instead of personal email, we'll still catch it and we'll get it synced over. Names are coming over, first name, last name, and then we're doing the same thing with phone number. We got the fields priority set up to try all the phone numbers and put them in that cell phone area. So this looks good. It's going to match up the phone, it's going to match up the email, it's going to match up the name. I'm going to go ahead and activate this sync. So there we go. If I go to my syncs now in API Nation, I see I have 3 syncs. I have the referrals for Agent Becker. I have the referrals for Agent Johnson, and I'm syncing all the notes from PrimeStreet into kvCORE. So that's it. That's how you connect PrimeStreet to kvCORE, get all your referrals into kvCORE, get all your notes in there, so you can start following up using the awesome tools in kvCORE to follow up on those great leads from PrimeStreet and start making more deals. If you have any questions or need any help setting up this sync, give us a phone call, shoot us an email. We're API Nation. We are connecting the world's applications.